Hello everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing great. You're welcome to my channel once more.
For the love, for the life.
Today we're looking at the fact that age cannot stop anybody from succeeding. Age cannot be an obstacle to whatever you want to achieve in life. Age is just in the mind. As long as you think you can do anything, as long as you believe you can do anything and you work hard to do it, you will achieve it. You see, we were made by a God who is ageless. We live in a universe that is ageless. Most of the things we are dealing with, the air, the land, the seas, they were here before we came. And it is these same elements, it is this same universe, it is a combination of all the energy and all the processes and all the systems that God has put in place that work together for good for our sake. It is a combination of all these things that work together to bring everything we are doing to fruition. So, if the elements we are dealing with, if the universe that we are dealing with and the God we believe in is ageless, age can never and will never be a barrier to anything you want to achieve. When God called Abraham, he called him at the age of 75. There were many young men around that time, but he chose a 75-year-old man, a man who is considered to be a failure by our standards today, because at the age of 75 he was still living with his father. At the age of 75 he didn't have any child, he didn't have let alone have a grandchild. So at the age of 75 he ought to have been in his own house or houses and playing with his grandchildren and all, but he wasn't. He hadn't achieved any of these things. And this was the man that God chose. This should tell you that God doesn't look at age as you know, it doesn't affect what he's doing, it doesn't affect his purpose, it doesn't affect what he wants to achieve. Once God wants to achieve anything, he uses a man. And once the man believes he can achieve it, then he will achieve it. There is nothing you wish to achieve that you cannot do. There are so many people who have already given up on marriage because they feel that they are at a certain age. Oh, I'm too old to get married. No man will marry me now. Or I'm too old. No lady will look at me now. Or I'm too old to achieve this. I'm too old to go to school now. People will laugh at me. I am too old for this. I'm too old for that. This is one of the things that are stopping people from achieving what they are supposed to achieve. You have this passion in your heart, you have this yearning in your soul to do something, but because of the fact that you are at a certain age, or because the people around you are telling you, oh, you're too old for this, and then you give up. I've seen many people who have passed, their prime, achieving and doing so many great things. We're going to be looking at a couple of them that happened in recent times, or in our generation, or before in the last century, so that we will know, and so that we will be convinced that age cannot stop us from achieving whatever we want to achieve. Age can never stop anybody from being what they want to become. I read about a man named Ray Kroc, who was a milkshake device salesman. A salesman before buying McDonald's at the age of 54 in 1954. He went ahead to grow it into the world's biggest fast food chain franchise. You can imagine that. He was just a salesman. Somebody like that could have decided, oh, I might as well die a salesman. I'm just a common salesman. There's nothing else I can achieve. But he went ahead to establish one of the most popular food chains in the world today. And it is still running several years after his demise. I read that Henry Ford was already 45 years old when he created the revolutionary Model T car in 1908. I equally read that a woman named Anna Mary Robertson Moses, better known as Grandma Moses, began her prolific painting career at the age of 78. Can you imagine that? At the age of 78. And in 2006, one of her paintings was sold for $1.2 million. This was a woman who is supposed to be retired or seemed to be frail or something, but she decided to pursue the passion in her soul at the age of 78. You see, I'm sure I can tell to a large extent that passion had been in her, but for one reason or the other, probably because of raising a family or so many people around her telling her you cannot do it, she was not able to do it start on time. But she still didn't give up, and at the age of 78, she was able to start, and her painting fetched millions of dollars. Who doesn't know about Madiba Nelson Mandela, who was born on the 18th of July 1918 and died on the 5th of December 2013, who was elected president at the age of 76, the first democratically elected president in South Africa at the age of 76, having gone through everything he went through, in prison here and there, and he was in prison for 27 years before he was released. So many people would have given up. So many people in fact, a lot of people would have died in prison even. But this man kept a vision of a free South Africa in his mind, and he refused to give up. And he came out and became a president at the age of 76. A lot of people have already retired in the village at that age. A lot of people have given up on everything. But this man was able to fulfill destiny because he did not give up, because he didn't see age as a barrier to anything that a person wants to or needs to achieve. And what about Colonel Sanders, whose real name is Harlan Sanders? He was 62 years old when he began to franchise Kentucky Fried Chicken in 1952. This was a man who failed at so many things. He failed at marriage, he failed in business, he failed in every ramification. But when he retired, I heard that he was contemplating committing suicide or something. Then all of a sudden this idea came into his mind that he has always loved cooking. So he began to fry chicken and sell from door to door. And then he established a restaurant. And from there, he began to franchise his brand. At the age of 62, when a lot of people would have given up, oh, I'm too old to try this thing, I'm too old. And then at the age of 73, when he could no longer manage, the business was too big. The business he built from the age of 62 was too big for him to handle. So he had to sell it for millions of dollars. And he was still, going about advertising for the company. They continued to pay him until his demise. When I look at these people, I marvel. A lot of people in so many people have already given up in their 50s and 60s, but these are men and women in their 60s and 70s going ahead to do great things. A man named Taikichiro Mori, who was an academic, became a real estate investor at the age of 51 when he founded the Mori Building Company. His brilliant investment made him the richest man in the world in 1992, where he had a net worth of $13 billion. This was a man who started at the age of 51. Time and space will fail me to mention all the names of people who achieved great things from their middle ages and beyond. Once you have this passion in your heart, in your soul, to do something, you must do it. Otherwise, you will never be fulfilled in life. That fire in your heart burning, that passion was put there by God so that you can go ahead and achieve that thing. Don't listen to those who tell you that you're too old. Don't listen to those who tell you that you're too old to get married. Don't listen to anybody who tells you that you're too old to have a child, not even the doctors, because God is far greater and above every other doctor. Don't listen to anybody who mocks you and makes fun of your age. It is only you that can stop you. If you believe that you can do it, you will achieve it. So, why don't you get up right now and do that thing you have been yearning to do? That fire, that passion in your heart that has been burning to do that thing, to start that business, that yearning to get married, that yearning to make an investment. Why don't you get up right now and do it? Delete all the doubts. Avoid those who keep telling you that you cannot do it. Because if you set your mind to anything, to achieve anything, you can achieve it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It is your mind that will help you to reach where you are going, not the number of your years. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. I pray and I hope that this word will make sense to somebody and that it will push you to achieve and do that thing that you were created to do and become. Don't let that number stop you. God bless you. Beloved, you were fashioned for greatness. You were made to succeed and not to fail. God made you and gave you a brain, gave you a mind, gave you intellect, gave you skills and abilities to make new things, discover things, invent things, to create new things, because you were made by the Creator. You were not made to fail.
For the love, for the life, for the way and the day, for the wealth and the health, for the gifts and the leaves, for the grace, the embrace.
People who are successful today weren't always successful. They met a lot of challenges on their way. What most people tend to see is the glory. They don't usually see the story behind the glory. And so when they are not yet seeing the glory, they begin to worry and they begin to despair. And sometimes they give up. Well, if you're looking at any successful person, what you need to do is to find out from them what they went through to get to where they are. You see, the universe was fashioned in such a way that you will meet obstacles, you will meet roadblocks. It's just like a school. When you go to school, after being taught, you will be given an exam. If you don't pass your exams, you may not move to the next level. That is exactly how life is. Obstacles will come. There will be challenges. People will disappoint you. What the universe wants to know is how much you want what you say you want. Because the universe does not favor quitters. The universe is looking for champions. They are looking for winners. Those who are resilient. Those who are persistent. Those who will persevere. They don't want. God does not want to hand over responsibility to you and then you dump it tomorrow and the other people that are looking up to you will be stranded. That is why He created the world in such a way that everything will work the way He has fashioned it to work. He created the universe in such a way that you will meet challenges on the road. But if you quit halfway, you will never know. So many people, after meeting a lot of no's, If you have met 50 people and they tell you no, if you give up on the 50th person, after meeting the 50th person, if you don't continue, you will never know if the 51st person will say yes to you. All the people you are seeing that succeeded today had so many stories. Some of them came from poor backgrounds, but they didn't allow their background to keep their back on the ground. You see, there is something that God put inside you that is always striving to succeed. If you do not allow that thing to thrive, you may never see the other side of life. You see, somebody who wants to commit suicide is not only going to waste a great destiny, not only going to waste a great talent, that person is also selfish, because the people you're leaving behind are going to suffer. There is absolutely no need to do that. There are so many people who had wanted to commit suicide in the past who didn't do it, and they are successful today. The fact that that man disappointed you does not mean that there's no man for you out there. The fact that that woman disappointed in that relationship does not mean that there's no woman for you out there. You don't take a very irrational decision based on what somebody did. It is what they did to you. Why will you kill yourself over what somebody did to you? You are not the one who did it. If somebody disappointed you, why should you kill yourself over it? He's the one who did the wrong thing. If somebody stole your money, why should you kill yourself over it? Over something that somebody else did. You must not allow obstacles, challenges, disappointments to pull you down. You see, a man who obstacles is like a man who is trying to cut down an oak tree with an axe. It may take him a while, but if he persists, even if it takes him years, he will cut it down. That is how obstacles are. They melt away. Walls fall. Challenges dematerialize. People who disappointed you in the past, later on, they may either come to apologize or do what you want, or meet you later on when you are at the top and see the mistake they made, that they lost out. Don't lose yourself. Don't despair. Don't sit down and give up because you met a challenge. Challenges are meant to be defeated, otherwise they won't be there. Challenges. And you have the ability, you have the innate ability to dismantle those challenges if you persist. But if you give up, you will never know. You need to get up from where you are right now. You have been contemplating giving up. You have been contemplating giving up on YT. You have been contemplating giving up on relationships. You have been contemplating stopping that business. You have been contemplating killing yourself. You have been contemplating giving up on everything around you just because you have been meeting obstacles. It doesn't matter how many times you have failed. If you fail 100 times, you can succeed at the 101st time. It was said that Thomas Edison did 1,000 experiments before he discovered the electric bulb. If you had given up at the 959th time, you wouldn't have succeeded. You must not give up. You must keep on moving. If a man is stealing a ground and that ground refuses to give in, he only needs to water it for a while, pour water on it for a while, and keep on digging, and the ground will give way. Everything gives way. Even mountains have been leveled. Valleys have been filled up. Crooked ways made straight. Everything always gives way if you keep at it long enough. This is not the time to give up. You must never give up. Those who give up never make it. Anybody who gives up never succeeds. It is only those who refuse to give up. It is only those who refuse to quit that are successful. If you want your name to go down in history as somebody who did great things, you must never give up. Don't give devil that satisfaction. God bless you. Today we're talking about the things that some people do, which they think are cool, which when they do, when people see them, they think they are confident. There are things that people think portray self-confidence, but which on the contrary, they portray low self-esteem. Top on my list is bleaching. Women who bleach, especially dark-skinned women who bleach, are actually saying, I don't like myself. I have very low self-esteem. I don't think I'm beautiful as a dark-skinned woman. I want to be fair. It is only fair people who are beautiful, who are pretty, who are attractive. That is what they are saying. But they have forgotten there are lots of very dark-skinned women who are making it out there with their dark skin. You don't have to bleach to make it in any industry, but in the movie industry, any place at all. Somebody like Lupita Nyong'o, she's very dark and she's making it internationally as an actress. Somebody like Abani Darego with her dark skin, she made it. Whoopi Goldberg. There are so many black women, too innumerable to mention, who became wealthy, who became famous with their black skin. You don't actually need to bleach to be beautiful. So anybody who is bleaching, male and female, is showing lack of self-confidence there. They are portraying low self-esteem. Number 2 on my list is women who expose their breasts. Those who expose their breasts are actually saying, look at me, look at my boobs, look at my buttocks, look at my body, concentrate on that. That's the only thing I have to offer you. That's the only thing I want to catch your attention, because I don't have anything upstairs to offer you. A lot of people see celebrities and they expose their boobs, and they think because they're dressed very well and they're smiling and walking on stage on the red carpet, they don't know the things that go on behind the scenes. They don't know that some of these celebrities are actually depressed. Some of them they have drug issues, relationship issues, personality issues, which they are trying to cover up when they're in the public eye. These people, that's why you see some of them committing suicide, having issues, crimes and stuff. They have a lot of issues. When they expose their boss, they are trying to, they are pseudo self-confidence. They don't have that. They have very low self-esteem. They're trying to distract you. They're telling the men, I don't think I can hold my own, intellectually. If I can't compete with you, let me use my feminine assets to hold their attention. Let me use my boobs and my buttocks and my shape to catch your attention, so that you don't ask me any other thing. They are telling men, my spirit and my intellect cannot hold you. I don't think I can hold you with them. Let me use my body to attract you. So exposing breasts and parts of your body which are meant to be hidden is showing low self-esteem. Another thing that some people don't understand is that nakedness is one of the manifestations of Satanism. The Bible says in the book of Genesis that when Adam and Eve sinned, they became naked. When you sin, nakedness is a manifestation of sin. It is related to sin. So those who are exposing their flesh are actually glorifying the things of Satan. They're actually glorifying him. Number 3 on my list of those who show very low self-esteem are men and women who stay in an abusive relationship. Anybody who is staying in an abusive relationship is saying, oh, I don't think I can get any other person better than you. Let me just stay here. There are people who stay in an abusive relationship either because the person who is abusing them is the breadwinner, or because of their children, or one other reasons, or due to shame or something. But the main reason why they stay there is low self-esteem. Sometimes the abuser will tell them, if you leave me, you will never see anybody, any other person. Nobody will ever like you. Nobody will ever love you more than me. Sometimes they try to disfigure them so that other people will not find them attractive. Anybody who is still in an abusive relationship is saying, I'm not worthy to have a good person in my life. I don't deserve to be happy. Let me just stay with this person. I deserve to be abused. For one reason or the other, in their past, in their warped mindset, they believe that they deserve the abuse. So they continue to stay in an abusive relationship. Another set of people who show low self-esteem are those who always keep telling you about the material possessions they have. Whenever you meet them, the first thing they will tell you, they'll start telling you about their property, their houses, their cars, the designer clothing they wear, the money they have, and the places they've been to. They have very little else to discuss. 90% of their discussion is on material things, or the number of women they have, and things like that. They are trying to cover up their inadequacies. They feel that if they don't tell you about the material things they have, you will not respect them otherwise. Probably they don't have any other thing to offer, so they just keep flashing and telling you about the material thing. The first time you're meeting them, they are telling you about, so that you know who they are. Another set of people who have very low self-esteem are very loud and aggressive people. They are very loud and aggressive. At the slightest provocation, they are screaming and shouting and jumping up and down. What they're actually doing is to hide their weakness inside, to hide their low self-esteem. They feel that if they don't shout and make noise, people will not respect them. They feel that if they shout and make noise, they will subdue everybody around them. They feel that if they don't shout, you will really know how the low self-esteem they are suffering from. You would really find out how they don't have self-confidence. You will really find out how weak they are inside. So they feel that they must scream and shout. They must scream and shout so that, to gain other people's respect. Another set of people who portray low self-esteem are very proud people. People who are proud are trying to hide their weakness. So they build this wall of pride around them. They look down on others. They want to make you feel as if you're nothing. They want everybody to think that they are the only one, they are the greatest, among their peers or wherever they are, or before their spouse. They will never concede to their mistakes. They will never concede to an argument, even if it's so obvious that they're saying the wrong thing. So very proud people have very low self-esteem. When you see people who made wealth genuinely wealthy people, they are humble people. They know what they have. They know what they are worth. They don't need to puff themselves off before you so that you will know, to prove who they are. It's majorly those who didn't make genuine wealth, or who don't have much, that are very, very proud. So proud people have very low self-esteem. Another set of people who have very low self-esteem are abusers. Those who abuse others have very low self-esteem. They lack self-confidence. They feel that they must pick on people who are weaker than them so that they can assert themselves and show who they are. They feel that, they get a negative satisfaction from picking on people around them, both male and female abusers. Those who are being abused stay with them because of one reason or the other. So these people continue to abuse them until maybe the person realizes what is going on or what they have to do, and they leave them. So abusers are people with very low self-esteem. Men who abuse women, who beat women, cannot face other men outside. That is why they feel that if they pick on their wives, they will assert their manhood or something of that nature. Another set of people who show very low self-esteem are men and women who jump from one bed to another. such men, they feel that if they sleep with so many women, they will accept or show that they are, real men. When you see them telling other men of how many women they have slept with, as if they are telling tales of battles they fought in Second World Wars or another war. That's the way they feel. It puffs them up. They feel that if they sleep with so many women, they have, it makes them feel great or something. So that is they inside they have very low self-esteem. That is why they do that. Men who are self-confident maintain relationship. They don't need to jump from one man to another to show it. The same way, in the same vein, women who jump from one man to the other are saying, "Oh, I have to give my body to a man before we can maintain a relationship, or before he will love me. If I don't give him my body, he will not love me." Apart from those who are sick, of course, all these other people, other set of people feel that they must sleep with men so that they can love them. That's the type of a woman you would tell, if you don't sleep with me, this relationship will not continue, and they'll quickly do it so that the relationship will stay. Those women, they have very low self-esteem. They feel that they must give a man their body, for to be loved. That's the same vein. Those who sell their body for money, they have very low self-worth. They don't value themselves. If they did, they won't be giving anybody their body to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. They would prefer to hawk on the street and give their body to anybody who they are not married to. They are also saying, I don't have any other thing that can give me a job. My intellect or my other skills cannot give me money. It's only by selling my body that I can make it. So they have very low. Hello out there. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great. God bless you. God bless you. Amen. Today we're looking at how not to allow your circumstances define you, but to define your circumstances. This basically means not allowing the things that are happening around you, not allowing your situation, what you're passing through, what you've experienced, to define who you are, to define the way you speak, to define your actions. So, what does that mean? Basically, most people or some people have allowed their experiences, what they have passed through, to determine their output in life, to determine their product and their results in life. They have allowed what they have passed through to cage them mentally, such that they're not able to make progress, they're not able to affect their world, they're not able to make impact, they're not able to achieve the much they're meant to achieve, because they've allowed past experiences or what is happening around them to dictate or define who they should be or what they should do. You see, mental battle of the mind is the greatest battle you can ever fight and win. Once you're able to win a battle in your mind, you have won it elsewhere. You see, people who have won battles, you have won maybe games, they excelled in games, in competitions. Those people did not just win it there, they won it in their minds. In their mind's eye, they had already seen their victory before it materialized in the physical. The battle of the mind is the best battle you can ever fight. And if you win any battle in your mind, you have won it in the physical. If you win the battle of poverty in your mind, you have defeated poverty in the physical. All right? You cannot keep a man who has defeated poverty in his mind poor. He will rise up. It's only a question of time. You see, when David fought Goliath, he didn't just win it there. In his mind's eye, he had already seen how he had defeated the bear. He already saw how he had defeated the lion. He saw how God had helped him in the past. And so he knew that he would be able to defeat Goliath. That was why he told King Saul, I'm not going to use your armor. I know the God that is with me. So I'm going to fight this man with what I have. So David had already won that battle in his mind before he won it in the physical. He refused to look at the size of Goliath. He refused to look at the fear in the face of the army of Israel. He refused to look at the face of King Saul. He refused to look at his circumstances. He did not allow the circumstances to define him. He defined the circumstances. He defined the outcome he was going to get. You see, for instance, a young lady who was disappointed by a man in a relationship would say, oh, he broke my heart. Sweetheart, he didn't break your heart. If he broke your heart, you won't be watching this video right now. Anybody whose heart is broken is 6 feet under. He just hurt your feelings. Do not allow that thing to define you for the rest of your life. You don't allow that disappointment to shape the way you see other men. You don't allow that disappointment by that lady you suffered to train in school or something to define how you look at women. Just because somebody maltreated you in the past shouldn't make you to now have the mindset that everybody is like that, or you should fight everybody. You don't define your life and shape your outcome and what is going on in your life because of what you have passed through or your circumstances. You see, when you can keep a man in the prison, but if his mind is not in that prison, he will get out from there. Nelson Mandela stayed in the prison for 27 years, but I bet you it was only his physical body that was there. His mind and his spirit was not there. In his mind, he already saw how South Africa was liberated. In his mind, he already saw himself leading the new South Africa. In his mind, he already saw himself doing so many great things. That is why he was able to come out. I've read stories of men who were wrongly imprisoned at one time or the other. They stayed in the prison for decades, but they were eventually released. Why? They knew they were innocent. In their mind, they saw themselves coming out. In their mind, they never believed they would stay there forever, and they continued to fight until new evidence was obtained that set them free. It was Bob Marley who sang, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery." You see, if anybody does not cage your mind, they cannot cage you physically. Once you're free mentally, you'll be free physically. But if you refuse to free yourself mentally from what is going on around you, you're not going to make much progress. You see, human beings will always disappoint you. You need to bear that in mind. At one time or the other, a human being from somewhere is doing something to upset you. At one time or the other, somebody is disappointing you. At one time or the other, somebody is hurting you. You should separate yourself mentally from what other people have done to you. They are external. They are not part of you. You don't allow it to cage you. Jesus said at one time, I know men. I don't need any man to tell me who men are. So in the same vein, you should make a mental note that men will always do something. Men are frail. Men are weak. Men will always offend. They will always make mistakes around you. So you shouldn't allow what somebody has done to you to cage you mentally. You shouldn't have allowed the circumstances, even if you contributed in any way to that event. Let's say you met a man and somehow your spirit was telling you this man is no good, and you still went ahead to invest in that relationship, and you're blaming yourself for not listening to the prompting of the Holy Spirit. Even if you made a mistake, that was not the outcome you wanted. You never meant to invite somebody to disappoint you. All right? So you should learn how to forgive yourself and leave that circumstance behind. A woman who lost her husband, sometimes some of them will continue to dwell in that state of widowhood. Any small to know I'm a widow. That is not to say that what happened to you was not a tragedy. It was a tragedy. Did it hurt? Definitely. Was it a bad thing? Obviously. But you shouldn't allow it. You must not allow it to define who you are. it's not everything you're doing now we are the cap of widowhood and everything you blame it on your husband not be and you allow it to cage you so mentally that you cannot even move forward. So many people, so many of them have refused to even step out to do something. You need to remove that thing from your mindset and be the person you're meant to be. A woman, for instance, who lost her relationship or who is divorced, for instance, sometimes she will now feel caged in her mind. Oh, if I do something now, they will say, okay, it's because I'm not married. If they ask me if I'm married, I can't say I'm married. And then she won't be able to speak. She won't be able to make impact. She won't be able to use the gifts that God has given her to bless her world. No, all those things are things that happen to you. They are different from you. You shouldn't allow them to determine who you are currently. You are the one that determines who you are. You are the one that determines how people will treat you. If you see yourself that you're no good, people will see that you're no good. If you see yourself that you're the best thing that happened to mankind, people will recognize it that you're the best thing that happened to mankind. Stop allowing the things that are happening around you. When Jesus was on earth, he had there were so many obstacles. Even in his hometown, they rejected him. So many things. People tried to kill him and all that. They sneered at him. Is that not the carpenter's son? But did they allow the fact that his father was the carpenter to deter him from doing great things? Definitely not. Obviously not. He didn't. If he did, we wouldn't be where we are today. So define who you are. Define where you're going. Define the circumstance you want to see, not the one you're seeing currently, because it's not going to be permanent. Whatever has disappeared in your mind will disappear eventually in the physically. Whatever is not having any effect on you mentally will definitely dematerialize in the physical. It's only a question of time. You see, those circumstances will never disappear. That circumstance, that situation will never leave you alone until you learn to define yourself without it. Stop identifying yourself with what is going on around you. They are external. They're not inside you. What is happening inside you is a message we preached some time back, is determines how the outside will be. Don't allow the way people talk to you or see you to define who you are. But then again, if they're talking to you in a certain way, you need to check, you need to look at yourself and determine how you see yourself, because it is the way you see yourself that people will see you. If you see yourself as a person who is of no good, you of no importance, you don't have anything to contribute to society, that is the way your countenance will feel. That is the message, that is the aura, that is the energy you will give to people, and that is how they will see you. So it is only you who will determine how you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to be perceived. Don't allow that circumstance to define you. You are far above that circumstance. You can rise above it. Once you're able to liberate yourself in your mind, you can liberate your circumstances. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate your presence. Kindly stay tuned to this channel. We have so much more on the way for you. Kindly stay tuned. If you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe and press the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, it will get to you. Always remember that with God all things are possible. Hello everyone, how are you doing? Compliments of the season. I hope this season meets you in a good place. Today we are talking about New Year resolutions and the impact or how impactful it is uh, for those who make New Year resolutions. What is a New Year resolution? New Year resolution is a tradition that started in the Western world, and according to Wikipedia, and it extended to the Eastern world, and now it's all over the place. People are making New Year resolutions. It is a practice whereby people, decide that in the coming year they are going to do one thing or the other, either start a business, or they're going to stop a bad habit or trait like smoking, or they make up their minds that they're going to lose weight or start a master's degree program or something. So it is something that people have been doing, but how effective is this New Year resolution? Is it really effective? In 2007, a man named Richard Wiseman, that's a very good name, he conducted a research with 3,000 people to find out how, people stick to their resolutions, if they're able to follow through. And he discovered that 88% of people don't follow through with their New Year resolutions. So if most people don't follow through with their New Year, why do people make New Year resolutions all the time? And why does it not work? First of all, you need to know that when you set a New Year resolution and you are not able to follow through, it is procrastination. You set a resolution this year, you couldn't follow through, then you postpone it. Oh, I will start next year. That's how you keep shifting it. It's procrastination. That's one arm of procrastination. There are other things like if you're supposed to do something, you keep on shifting it. Other things they are supposed to do, even house chores, assignments, Bible study, prayer. You keep on shifting everything. That's another way of manifesting procrastination. And procrastination is as a result of lack of self-control. Anybody who procrastinates lacks self-control. And we know what the Bible says about somebody who lacks self-control. Proverbs chapter 25 verse 28 says that a man who does not have self-control is like a city without walls. And a city without walls can easily be invaded by the enemy at any time. So it is not a good thing at all. Anybody who always procrastinates always doesn't get things done. He doesn't make much progress. People who act quickly, most of the time when you see wealthy people, people who made genuine wealth, they act quickly. When they see a business decision they need to take, they take it, they act quickly. When they see something they need to learn, they pay for it immediately and learn it. They do not waste time. So that is what those who fix New Year resolutions and are not able to follow through is part of their problem is lack of self-control, because they keep procrastinating. What does the Bible say about procrastination? How does Jesus, what did Jesus do? How did he conduct his affairs? When Jesus wanted to send Judas to go and do the needful, because Judas was meant to betray him, so he told him to go and do what he needed to do. Jesus did not waste time. In John chapter 13 verse 27, he said to Judas, whatever you need to do, do it quickly, as in do not waste a second. Get up right now and go and do that thing that you need to do. And Judas got up and did the needful. Jesus did not waste time. When it was time to do Passover, when it was time to do the Last Supper, he told them, go and meet that man. Go and meet that man and tell him that I need a room for the Last Supper. I need a room for the Last Supper. I think it's in Matthew chapter 26, verses 17 to 30. In verse 19, 17 to 19, he told them, go and meet that man and tell him immediately, I need a room for the Last Supper. And they went immediately and met the man, and the man gave them a room, and they celebrated the Last Supper. They didn't waste time. In Luke chapter 9 verse 57, when Jesus met some people, he told one of them, I need to come and follow me. That one said, oh, master, please, I need to go and bury my father. In verse 59. Then the other one said, I need to go and tell my people bye. He told them, any man who puts his hand on the plow and looks back is not worthy of the kingdom of God. So Jesus never procrastinated. Whatever he needed to do, he did it immediately. And whenever he was calling the disciples, when he called the apostles, the disciples, he called Peter and Andrew. They left whatever they were doing and followed him immediately. He didn't waste time. Anybody he called, they followed him immediately. He didn't listen to, oh, let me just fix this and I'm coming. They left everything they were doing and they went. When he called them, he told the tax collector to follow him. He did it immediately. He didn't waste time. So it's not a character that is approved anywhere, not in the world, not in heaven. Procrastination is a deadly threat. It is something that will hinder your spiritual life. It will hinder your destiny. It will hinder relationships. Then James chapter 4 verse 13 to 14 tells us, some people will say, today and tomorrow I will do it. I will do it tomorrow. And that verse, those verses were asking, do you know what will happen tomorrow? Do you know where we'll be tomorrow? The same weather that was conducive to, that is conducive today, the weather that is conducive today may not be conducive tomorrow. The same person that you're able to access today, by tomorrow that person may not be available for you. So whatever you need to do it immediately. In Proverbs chapter 6 verse 4, the New Living Translation of Proverbs chapter 6 verse 4 says, don't put it off, do it now. Do not rest until you do that thing. Do not rest. Whenever you get an inspiration, whenever you get an idea, write it down and start running with it. Except, of course, if it's an assignment that God says, okay, leave till next month, then that is a different thing. But whenever you get an inspiration to do something, don't wait. Do it now. Do not rest until you have done it, as Proverbs chapter 6 verse 4 tells us. So if you need to start losing weight, if you need to lose weight, if you need to stop smoking, if you need to start a YouTube channel for a good cause, of course, if you need to start anything, start now. Don't wait until next year. There are certain conditions that are there that you may not see again next year. And if you're used to procrastinating, the tendency is that by the time 1st of January comes, you will still procrastinate. You see, I wonder why people think that 1st of January has a magic wand or something, that immediately the 1st of January comes, it will compel you to do what you don't want to do. There's nothing like that. 1st of January is like 31st of January of January. 1st of January is like 31st of December. It's like 30th of May. It's like 2nd of July. It is like any other day. So that thing you want to start by 1st of January, start it today. Start it today. If you need to lose weight, write down what you need to do. Part of the reason why people don't follow up with their New Year's resolution, part of the reason people fail, is because they don't set their goals. They don't set achievable goals. They just sit down and say, oh, I'm going to lose weight. They don't write down achievable goals with this attendant steps they need to take to achieve it. If you need to lose weight, for instance, you need to sit down and do a research. You write down, okay, today I'm going to do a research on how people lose weight. I'm going to look for sites that where people can lose weight. You write down today, the first day, this is what I'm going to do. Second day, I'm going to go to the site and see what they do there. Third day, you need to go to the gym or start an exercise, regime, whatever you need to do. You write them down step by step, day by day, on how you're going to do it. You're not just going to lump one New Year's resolution and say, this is what I'm going to do, without steps and plans that you will need to achieve them. That's why people don't usually achieve New Year's resolutions. Another thing you can also do is to pray. But mind you, prayer is just part of it. There are certain things that God cannot do for you. He has already given you everything you need that pertain to life and godliness. Everything you need to succeed in life and be a true child of God. God has already given it to you. If God wakes you up in the morning, He cannot bring down your leg from the bed. You are to do that yourself. Some people wake up in the morning and they spend extra 2 or 3 hours on the bed, either they're dreaming or watching television or on social media. They don't get up to do what they need to do. God will not do that for you. God cannot bring down your legs from the bed. You are the only one that can do it for yourself. So you need to take steps. God has already given you everything you need to do what you need to do. Stop doing new resolutions. And if you're watching this video right now and you have done a new resolution, you need to start it now. Do not wait until 1st of January or 10th of January. If you need to stop dating that man, if you need to leave that toxic relationship you are in, do it now. If you're dating a married man and you're saying, okay, after he has finished buying me Christmas presents, I will leave him. You don't know what will happen by January. Do it now. If you need to start losing weight, start now. If you need to stop smoking, start now. See, part of acting quickly is not when you see a woman or you say, or a man, you decide quickly, I want to marry him. That is totally out of it. Marriage is not something you do in a haste. There are certain things you don't do it quickly. You need to know the difference. So, but those things that are your personal goals that you need to achieve, like personal vision, business you need to start or something, what you need to study, all those kind of things, you need to start them immediately. Do not wait till 1st of January. You that you're watching this video right now, that thing you're shifting, that thing you're postponing, do not postpone it. Do not postpone it. Start now. As soon as you stop watching this video, go right now and start it. I pray that God will give you the grace that you need to start what you need to start that thing right now, to stop those things you need to stop, in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence.